Good morning to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today's editorial is all about the new variant, Omicron, and it talks about that, a familiar topic. The other topic is a bit vague. That's the reason why I did not bring the other editorial. This one important at the same time. There are some important words you can learn. Besides the editorial, today you're going to work on error location, Jumble, Cloze Test, idioms, and as usual, editorial words. Before we go to the editorial analysis, quick look at the words. As I said, this is a familiar topic we have done so many times, different touching different dimensions of the COVID-19 or the pandemic, and many words should be familiar and not too many words. Maybe one or two words important and new, other words are quite familiar. What is the first one? Consortium. Consortium goes with business context, though they have used over here. Usually, the word consortium goes with business. And what exactly does it mean? An association typically of several companies. As I said, this goes with business, and a lot of companies come together, they form an association. Then we use the word consortium. Monitor, a familiar word. Monitor usually takes the word progress. You monitor the progress of someone or something. Observe and check the progress or quality of something over a period of time. Genomic, a technical term relating to the complete set of genetic material of a human, animal, plant, or other living thing. All living things have genetic material, and the complete set of genetic material is known as genomic. Epidemiological, this again we have got many a time. It is a term that goes with medicine, medical field, relating to the branch of medicine which deals with the incidence, distribution, and control of diseases, in a way related to study of diseases. Premise, on the premise of, usually we say, base an argument, theory, or undertaking on something, some assumption or some theory. Harsh, a simple word, goes with everyday English, unpleasantly rough or jarring to the senses. Harsh sound, harsh behavior, harsh statement. This is an important word, obfuscate. I think we have got after a gap of so many months. Make something obscure, vague, not clear, or unclear, unintelligible. Intelligible, an important word. It means understandable. Here you have to remember, this is not from yesterday's. You have to remember the word obfuscate. That is the most important word. Designated, designation, noun, designate, verb. It has two different meanings. One goes with the designation of a particular person who works for a particular organization. We ask the question, what is your designation? But here, designate another meaning, officially give a specified status or name to someone, designate a particular disease or designate a particular situation, means officially give a particular status. Intrinsic, we have got once or twice, belonging naturally or something that is essential. Intrinsic, we also use words like inborn, inbuilt, spectrum. It has many meanings. Actually, it goes with physics. You all know that. But here, it means a range of different positions or opinions. Spectrum of something, range of something. Vulnerable, we have got many a time. Exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, either physically or emotionally. So, not too many words, as I said, only a few words, and many words are quite familiar. Let us go to the editorial and see what is there to learn. Not mild for all. The key word over here, mild. When we talk about a particular disease, a particular problem, we use words like severe, we use words like mild. In this context, mild. Mild means what? Not severe. Not mild for all. For everyone, it is not mild. Now there's a tag when it comes to the new variant, Omicron. What is a tag? It is not that severe. People are getting affected, but it is not fatal. It is not that serious and not severe. It is rather mild. But this editorial starts contrary to that popular belief. Not mild for all. That means what? It is mild for some people. It is not mild for all. What is the main idea of this editorial? India has admitted community transmission in the belief Omicron is mild. There are two dimensions over here. One is India admitting community transmission of the new variant. This editorial, in a way, talks about India admitting community transmission. It says in the past, it did not, excuse me, in the past, it did not admit. Now it has admitted. And what could be the reason behind admitting a particular variant? It is in saying that it is in community transmission. It talks about that. India has admitted another key word here. India is subject, has admitted verb present perfect. Admitted what? Object, community transmission. And why did it admit? Here you see a phrase that talks about the reason. In the belief Omicron is mild. It's a clause actually. It talks about the purpose, the reason behind admitting community transmission in the belief Omicron is mild. So there's a belief that Omicron is mild. But the editorial says it is not mild for all. Even at the peak, now it provides a, excuse me, I have a sore throat, cough, cold. So you have to bear with it. Uh, it talks about the past, the Delta variant. Even at the peak of the second wave in India last year, when no contact tracing was done or was possible, not a word was said about the Delta variant being in community transmission, where the source of infection cannot be traced. So it talks about when Delta variant, we all know now we are talking about Omicron. But before this, everyone was scared of another variant, Delta variant. In fact, Delta variant made a negative impact, devastating impact across the world. So this says that time when it was even at the peak of the second wave in India last year, when no contact tracing was done or was possible, not a word was said. This is an important expression. Not a word was said about the Delta variant being in community transmission, where the source of infection cannot be traced. So, in a nutshell, this sentence talks about in the past, India did not admit community transmission, and when it comes to Delta variant, not a word was said about Delta variant. But with extremely transmissible Omicron becoming the dominant variant across major cities, INSACOG, the consortium meant to monitor the genomic variations in the SARS-CoV-2 virus, has for the first time officially mentioned that India has entered community transmission. Daily fresh cases have been over 0.3 million since January 19. A pretty lengthy sentence, but what does it talk about? When the first, it starts with not admitting in the case of Delta variant, not a word was said, but expresses contrasting information. In the past, India did not admit. Now, India has admitted. So, what could be the reason? And it talks about who admitted and the organization related to this particular variant or this particular not variant, this particular virus. But with extremely transmissible Omicron becoming the dominant variant across major cities, INSACOG, the consortium, there's an important word. Consortium, as I said, it goes with business entities, but it means an association, typically of several companies coming together and forming an association. But here, consortium goes with different organizations meant to monitor, observe, and check the progress of something over a period of time. The genomic variations, genomic, the complete set of genetic material of a living thing, genomic variations in the SARS CoV 2 virus has for the first time officially mentioned that India has entered community transmission. Same idea is being reiterated, admitting community transmission in case of Omicron, the new variant. And to substantiate that, the statistical data, daily fresh cases have been over 0.3 million since January 19. Even as on June 15 last year, again the editorial goes back last year, Even as on June 15 last year, when the second wave had peaked here, India claimed to have only a cluster of cases as reflected in World Health Organization's last epidemiological report, weekly report, mentioning the stage of transmission in member states. So this again talks about last year what happened. India did not admit, and it claimed to have only a cluster of cases. Cluster of cases. It did not admit community transmission. Even as on June, in a way, the same idea last year did not admit. Now it has admitted. The idea is being presented. Even as on June 15 last year, when the second wave had peaked here, India claimed to have only a cluster of cases, as reflected in World Health Organization's last epidemiological report, weekly report, mentioning the stage of transmission in member states. There's one important word, epidemiological, means what? Relating to the branch of medicine which deals with the incidence, distribution, and control of diseases. In a nutshell, it is all about the study of diseases, how they come into existence, how they spread, all those dimensions. Now it talks about the US context, the US scenario. In contrast, the US declared community transmission in February 2020 when the source of infection was untraceable in one instance. Only 15 cases were detected then. It talks about US admitting way back in 2020 community transmission. The closest India came to admitting community transmission was in October 2020. Now it talks about Indian context. The closest India came to admitting community transmission was in October 2020, when then Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan said it was restricted to certain districts in limited states. That means what? They did not admit complete community transmission, restricted to certain districts in limited states. The deep reluctance, now the editorial says, why, in the opinion of the editorial, why does India hesitate to admit community transmission? It touches that particular dimension. The deep reluctance, reluctant means what? Unwilling to do something. The deep reluctance to acknowledge community transmission was based on the premise that there's one important word. Premise means what? Base an argument, theory, or undertaking on something. That it marked the government's inability to control the virus spread. Now, once they admit community transmission, in a way it says the government has failed, or it shows the government's inability to control the virus spread. So they don't want to admit. And the failure of the harsh national lockdown. Failure of one more thing, harsh national lockdown. Harsh has got different meanings, but in this context, unpleasantly rough or jarring to the senses. In this context, it means something that is unpleasant. As the government tried in vain, this is an important expression, to obfuscate. In vain means of no use. Obfuscate, an important word. Today, of all the words, this is the most important word you have to remember. Make something obscure, unclear, vague, or unintelligible. As the government tried in vain to obfuscate the stage of transmission, it only reflected its resistance to acknowledge reality and an unwillingness to be transparent. Again, in a way, the editorial questions the government, the stand taken by the government, says, talks what could be the reason. As the government tried in vain, means of no use, futile efforts, to obfuscate the stage of transmission, it only reflected its resistance to acknowledge reality and an unwillingness to be transparent. INSOCOG's weekly bulletin also mentions that BA.2 sublineage of Omicron forms a substantial fraction of cases detected in India. Now there is a sublineage of Omicron. This sublineage was detected a month after World Health Organization had designated Omicron to be a variant of concern on November 26, 2021. So this again talks about when it was labeled or designated to be a variant of concern. That means we got to be careful. Here there is one word, designated. It means what? Officially give a specified status or name to someone or something. Though the Omicron variant causes less disease severity intrinsically, and most of those who are fully vaccinated have only mild disease, the number of people hospitalized and requiring intensive care has been increasing in the third wave in India. Now we are talking about the third wave. It talks about everyone has the feeling, the opinion that the new variant Omicron is mild. Though the here again contrasting information, though the Omicron variant causes less disease severity intrinsically, an important word, intrinsic, belonging naturally, essential, inborn, inbuilt, and most of those who are fully vaccinated have only mild disease. Now, unfortunately, the number of people hospitalized and requiring intensive care has been increasing in the third wave in India. That's the reason why the editorial has started with not mild for all. Some people are getting affected. As World Health Organization recently warned, people infected with Omicron can display the full spectrum of disease. There's another important word, spectrum, a range of disease from asymptomatic infection to severe disease and death. Death is also possible. This is especially true in older people, those with comorbidities, and people not fully vaccinated. Three groups are likely to get affected: old people, those with comorbidities, many diseases existing at the same time, and people not fully vaccinated. Obviously, they're not protected. Now, the editorial presents statistical data. Though over 67% of adults have been fully vaccinated, nearly 8.2 million booster doses administered as on January 23rd, nearly 5.5% of healthcare workers, 6.8% of frontline workers, and 16.2 of those older than 60 years have not received their second dose. Even the frontline workers, healthcare workers, have not received the second dose. This is something disturbing. Fully vaccinating these vulnerable groups. Vulnerable, we have got many a time. What does it mean? Exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed, either physically or emotionally. Vulnerable, again, it means someone who is in a weak position, likely to get attacked, likely to get affected. So all these healthcare workers, frontline workers, those older than 60 years, they haven't received the second dose. Definitely they come under the word, the group, vulnerable. Fully vaccinating these vulnerable groups should be a high priority, beyond any doubt. Meanwhile, the need for strict adherence to COVID appropriate behavior. Every time I do the editorial related to COVID 19, you have been attending, we come across this particular expression. What is it? COVID appropriate behavior. Adherence to. We all know the meaning of the word adhere, stick to, follow. It goes with rules and regulations. Excuse me. And how does the editorial end? The same old saying, what is it? Meanwhile, the need for strict adherence to COVID appropriate behavior cannot be overemphasized. It goes without saying that we have to stick to or adhere to COVID appropriate behavior. But today also I see a lot of people are not bothered. They are not adhering to COVID appropriate behavior. And this is very unfortunate. Around the world, not only in our country, across the world, people are not very particular when it comes to adhering to COVID appropriate behavior. Why we don't know the exact reason, but that's a fact no one can deny. Let us go to the questions based on this editorial, comprehension related. What is this editorial about? You should be able to write. In the context of the editorial, not a word was said about what? About something, not a word was said. So what is that you have to write? Excuse me. What is the function of INSACOG? You should be able to mention in the editorial. The deep reluctance to acknowledge community transmission was based on what? Reluctance to acknowledge community transmission. What could be the reason for that resistance or reluctance? It is based on what? Easy to answer. When was sublineage detected? Now, today only I have seen this sublineage of Omicron. When was it detected? Easy to answer. One sentence you should be able to answer. That's all about the editorial. Now let us go to practice questions based on exam topics. Please have a look at the first one. The first five questions go with error location and not that difficult. You should get at least a 4 out of 5. Not very difficult. The Ministry of Environment and Forest has issued a show cause notice to the state government recently, seeking explanation on the execution of Dindi lift irrigation project without environmental clearance from them. Where is the error? Excuse me. For the execution, no. On the execution, explanation on the execution of, nothing wrong over there, nothing wrong. Seeking explanation on the execution of, nothing wrong. Only one student has responded. How come? Yes, who is this? Pavani has got it right. Here we are talking about the Ministry of Environment and Forest. That's a phrase. Ministry, third person singular. That is a subject. And here this question is related to subject, pronoun, agreement. Subject pronoun agreement. Here we cannot use them. We have to use a pronoun it. What is the reason? The ministry without environmental clearance from it, not them. It's a question related to subject pronoun agreement. I've told many a time when I teach pronouns also, I usually tell students subject pronoun agreement, object pronoun agreement, very important from the exam point of view. Under pressure, not easy to spot the error. A lengthy sentence, but the last word is not correct. Them is not correct, it should be it. Please go to question number 2. This is rather easy. Sometimes what happens, lengthy sentences may intimidate you guys, but all that you have to do with a focused mind, you have to read the sentence meticulously. You will be able to spot the error. Tell me where is the error when it comes to question number 2. Yes, a lengthy sentence, but you don't have to go beyond the first part. Save your time. Just a phone call would get doctor's possessive position. That means what? We need to use a noun. But here, advise BIS is a verb form. Not correct. It should be noun. ADVICE. That is a noun form. We cannot use a verb form. VICE is a noun. ADVISE. Advise someone. Verb. Here we cannot use a verb form, we have to use the noun because doctors advise. Easy if you read meticulously. If you don't catch that, you go beyond that, then sheer waste of time. You have to read the complete sentence, a lengthy sentence. Not easy again after that. For more than 45 days, guest lecturers of government degree colleges are on strike demanding job security. Today, the lag time more than 20 seconds. Why the response has been very slow today from your end? Good morning, Raghu. No, nothing wrong with for more than 45 days. For demanding, no, demanding job security, nothing wrong with that. An easy one, you should not take so long and you should be able to spot the error. I have been telling you guys, whenever you read a sentence, you should look for the time phrases and you have to focus on the time phrases. For more than 45 days means what? It started in the past, it is in the present. And whenever you see for 45 days, for 2 months, for 3 months, you see two prepositions. One is for, the other one is since. You have to think of either present perfect tense or present perfect continuous. Here we cannot use present perfect continuous. Here the situation talks about from the past to the present. That means we should use present perfect tense. But here it is in present tense, not correct. For more than 45 days, guest lecturers of government degree colleges have been have been on strike. Very good, Madhav. I want you guys to write the correct expression. Lecturers have been on strike for more than 45 days. This is the regular pattern, but they have taken the time phrase. They started the sentence with the time phrase. Meaning wise, one and the same. Lecturers have been on strike since when or for how long? For more than 45 days. Obviously, it should be. Present perfect, only one student has got it right. Others, an easy question. I would like to reiterate, all of you, please remember this tip is a very useful tip. In the exam, when you read a sentence, either you're looking for a question related to error location or phrase improvement. You have to focus on the time phrase. You have to look for the time phrase. These act as a clues. Whenever you come across a preposition first since, you have to think of present perfect or present perfect continuous. Here we cannot use a continuous tense, so it has to be in present perfect. Obviously, they have been on strike. An easy one, but only one student could get it right. I'm rather surprised. No problem. Next time, do remember time phrases are very important. Life has appeared relatively stagnant in Kerala on Sunday, with the government enforcing a statewide lockdown to arrest the COVID 19 surge. This is also an easy one, should not be a problem. One reading, you should be able to spot the error. How come no response? Again, when you read a sentence, you have to focus on the time factor. On Sunday, stagnant in Kerala on Sunday. Sunday goes into the past. Then we cannot use present perfect. We should use past tense. There is an error in the first part. Life appeared relatively stagnant in Kerala on Sunday, with the government enforcing a statewide lockdown to arrest the COVID 19 surge. No, no. Please, very good, Madhav. Here, time phrases are very important. You're going off the track. Why do you want to go to the? You should not go beyond the second part. You don't have to use past perfect. It should be simple past. Question is related to past tense. An easy question based on Sunday. Sunday goes into past. We should use past tense, and this particular aspect has been touched many a time. In so many exams, they have given the wrong combination. What is the wrong combination? Present perfect plus time in past. Not correct. The People's Liberation Army PLA of China has told the Indian Army that it found a missing boy believed to be from Arunachal Pradesh. This is not easy under pressure, but you can spot the error. An important question, very important. Let's see how you're going to handle question number 5. Excuse me. Why no response? The People's Liberation Army PLA of China has told, whenever you come across words like said, told, asked, ordered, warned, requested, you have to think of indirect speech or narration. Here, the reporting verb, what is this? A reporting verb. A reporting verb is in present perfect. Then you have to recollect the rule that goes with indirect speech statements. What is the first rule? If the reporting verb is in present tense, present perfect, or future, the tenses don't change to a corresponding past tense. The PLA must have said, we have found, or it has found a missing boy, because here there is no time. They should use present perfect. Past action, no time, we should use present perfect. But here, please listen. But here, the reporting verb is in present perfect. Then the tenses don't change to a corresponding past tense. Based on that, it found is not correct. It has found. It has found. No one has got it right. Who is this? Prasad's. Very good. One student has got it right. The People's Liberation Army of China has told, reporting verb, present perfect. Here, the clause, there is no time. That means they must have used present perfect tense. Past action, no time, present perfect. So it has found. It has found does not change. Present perfect remains in present perfect. Missing boy believed to be from Arunachal Pradesh. Today, somehow, I thought easy questions, but only a few could get. I think no one has got all the 5 correct. Sometimes it happens, nothing to worry. This is Para Jumble from an international magazine or the Hindu, I'm not quite sure. Please have a look, try to get the correct order, read carefully, take elimination approach. This is not easy. Very good, Prasad's. He is the first one. Peru declared an environmental emergency Saturday. Why did it declare? Very good. Immediately you can make out. To battle an oil spill caused by freak waves from a volcanic eruption in the South Pacific. EF, very good, I appreciate. After that, what? There is a clue for you, eruption, a volcanic eruption. First time we use the indefinite article. And then second time we use a definite article. The stunningly powerful eruption. That means A should come next. Use your grammar knowledge. A volcanic eruption, the stunningly powerful eruption. No, no, no. Unleashed tsunami waves around the Pacific and as far away as the United States. AB one pair. The stunningly a volcanic eruption, continuity of thought. The stunningly powerful eruption on last Saturday of an undersea volcano near Tonga unleashed tsunami waves around the Pacific and as far away as the United States. After that, easy. CD. In Peru, the oil spill near Lima has fouled beaches, killed birds, and harmed continuity and harmed the fishing and tourism industries. E, F, A, B, C, D. Very good. I appreciate those who have got it right. This is from an international magazine. Try to get all the five blanks. 5 plus 5, total 10, two slides. Context, a familiar context, but words not the regular words. A few are important words. It is possible, but far from certain, that the Omicron. Sir, good morning, sir. How should I learn tenses? It is not a question of how should I learn. You have to learn. And usually, when I teach tenses, I have a particular approach. My approach, which I have been using for so many years, first you have to learn the sentence pattern of a particular tense. Then you have to learn the rules of that particular tense. Then you have to learn the uses. Sentence pattern, they don't ask in the exam, but you have to learn. It's a prerequisite. But when you learn a particular tense, you have to focus more on rules and uses. When I teach tenses, I emphasize two things. One, the verb forms, the other one, time phrases. The time phrases are tense specific. So you have to memorize the time phrases when you learn tenses. And based on the time phrases, you will be able to spot the error. For example, every day, usually, regularly, once a week, they go with present tense. Now, at the moment, nowadays, these days, these go with present continuous. Any time that goes into past tense usually. So, like this, you have to memorize the time phrases, then it becomes easy for you to spot the error. Onslaught means to attack continuously. Onslaught, to attack continuously. Here, it is possible, but far from certain, that the Omicron onslaught marks the beginning of the end of the COVID 19 pandemic. Onslaught means attack continuously. The optimistic what? Scenario. Onslaught, first one, then the optimistic scenario goes something like this. Once Omicron is through, what is the third one? Once Omicron is through, suppress the world, humanity, through humanity, the world, through ravaging the world. It cannot be the third one. No, no, no. Once Omicron is through, ravaging the world, ravaging the world, enough people will have acquired natural immunity that together with those who have been vaccinated, The virus is suppressed here. The virus is suppressed to more or less permanently low levels in the population. And the last one, occupied but leaves the rest of humanity free to go about the daily business of life. Third one is not third blank. It is not suppressed. It is ravaging. Once Omicron is through ravaging the world, that means it completes its destruction phase around the world. I don't know how many of you have got all the five correct. Now go to the next slide. Please go to the next slide. 3 out of 5. Okay. That means not that difficult, at the same time, not very easy. Moderate. 3. Looks like that is average. Sai Kumar got all the five correct. That's good. 1 1, yes. 2, not, nothing to worry. Next time you will be able to do better. So the pessimistic, optimistic scenario, what is opposite? Pessimistic scenario, which unfortunately is equally valid, starts with that familiar. This is a bit difficult. Familiar bugaboo. Bugaboo means something that you fear. Something that you fear. We don't use in this part of the world, but if you go to the Western countries, they use words like bugaboo, boogeyman, something that kids usually, to scare the kids, mothers or parents, they use these terms bugaboo, boogeyman. We are not familiar, but bugaboo means something that is feared a lot. This is over, this is over. The random threat of some new unforeseen mutation of the COVID 19 virus rising up and dashing our hopes. Here it is, dashing our hopes means killing our hopes. It is too early to know which scenario best describes the near future and will probably be knowable only in retrospect. Answer is the fifth one. When you look back, you will come to know whether it was optimistic or pessimistic. But one thing is reasonably certain: SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, is not going away. Scientists are in near universal agreement that the virus will be a fixture for generations to come. Fixture usually goes with household things. If you take a particular building, you have fixtures, permanently fixed things. In this context, it means something that is going to be permanently there in the society for a long time to bugbear, yes, for a long time to come. So fixture usually goes with everyday English. What are the fixtures you have found in the house? One context, but here society fixture for generations to come. It will be part of the society. You can't escape. The last five questions related to idioms, after that editorial vocabulary. To give someone the cold shoulder. Give someone the cold shoulder. What is the meaning? Don't get disappointed, one or two or three. Be optimistic, and next time when you read a lot, do remember reading is important. You will be able to get all the five correct. It all depends on the reading habit. Without reading, without exposing yourself to the language, not practically possible to answer many of these questions. So, give cold shoulder means drive someone comforting clothes? No. Ignore or show indifference? Answer is the second option. Pie in the sky. Shishant, very good. If you write the answer, you will be able to remember. Pie in the sky we have got for the first time, not a familiar one. What does it mean? Prospective, future. Retrospective, opposite. Yes, looking back. Very good. Parama, I appreciate that. So pie in the sky, something not possible. Answer is the second option. No one has answered the second one. Something not possible, pie in the sky. No, no. Something not possible. Answer is the second option. No one has got it right. Ah, yes, who is this? Lakshmi got it right. Second one. Apsara also. Keep abreast of, usually we say keep abreast of the latest things, latest happenings. Keep ahead of, keep oneself updated. Steer clear of someone is its synonym. For which one are you talking? Madhav, for which one? Keep oneself updated. Shushant, you're right. Keep oneself updated. Keep ahead of, no. Keep abreast of the latest developments means what? Keep oneself updated. Know the latest happenings. Take a back seat. Something, yes, pigs fly is a synonym. That's right, Madhav. When pigs fly, something that is not possible. You cannot expect a pie in the sky. You cannot expect pigs to fly, obviously. To take a back seat, usually this goes with a project, a policy, an important decision. To go through a short but unpleasant period of time, to lecture or criticize a person, to be less successful in one's efforts, to become less important or to give up control over things, to become less important. It has taken a back seat, means what? Now people are not focusing on that. Now it is not that important. The policy has taken a back seat, now not in the limelight. The ambitious project to impart free books to all students ended in smoke. Yes, Sushant, you're right. So, what is the answer for the last one? Ended in smoke. Exceeded the budget. Was delayed. Third option, yielded no result. For that, we also say something went down the drain, something went to dogs. Means wasted efforts, something went waste. Now, let us go to the last slide. Learning point of view, enrichment point of view. Editorial vocabulary, consortium, part of speech, noun, and what does it mean? Association of companies, E is the answer. Monitor could be a noun, could be a verb, usually used as a verb. Observe and check the progress of someone or something over a period of time. Genomic, adjective, genome, noun. Complete set of genes, chromosomes that belong to a particular plant, animal, living thing. J. On the premise, base an argument on something. Noun, A is the answer. Harsh statement, harsh behavior, harsh conditions, unpleasantly rough. C is the answer. Obfuscate, this is the most important word I want you guys to remember, not easy. And it is a verb. Make something obscure, vague, or fall flat, also you can say. Yes, go up in smoke. So many are there. Yes, Madhav, I appreciate. You're right. Make obscure. Answer is G. Make something vague, obscure, unclear, unintelligible. Designate is a verb. Designation, noun. Officially declare something or officially specify a particular status, we use I is the answer. Designate. Intrinsic qualities, adjective. Natural, inbuilt, inborn, you have to belonging naturally. Spectrum, noun. A range, it goes with physics, but in this context, a range of things from one end to the other end. Vulnerable, population, vulnerable groups, adjective, obviously. Endangered, jeopardy, open to attack, likely to get affected in this context. That's all about today's. Again, you can have a look at these words. Let us go to my schedule. Today's schedule: 8 a.m. the Hindu Editorial we have just done. 10 a.m. SSC CHSL and CGL Foundation batch. 11:45 a.m. SSC CHSL and CGL practice batch. An Academy Plus platform. And 6 p.m. today also. Yesterday I did root words. The response was good. And today also an important topic, important prefixes. An Academy platform, special class, it's a free class. All that you have to do, use my referral code Murthy10. 7:30 p.m. SSC, CHSL and CGL important questions. An Academy SSC YouTube channel. That's all for today. Thank you very much for being with me till 8:51. A little early because of familiar topic. Have a nice day. I will see you guys tomorrow. Do remember to subscribe and share. Join the Telegram group. After the session, go to the description of the video and click on the link. After that, you don't have to do anything. You'll be at the receiving end. And I'll provide the PDF. Try to work on important questions.